Lola walked into the cafe, her high heels clicking against the marble floor. Heads turned as she made her entrance, draped in a designer dress that hugged her curves perfectly. Her diamond earrings sparkled under the warm lights, and her oversized handbag, another luxury item, screamed wealth. "Good afternoon, ladies," she said, flashing her perfect smile as she joined her friends at their usual table. "Wow, Lola, you look stunning, as always," said Sarah, her best friend. "Thank you, darling. It's just something I picked up in Paris last weekend," Lola replied nonchalantly, waving her hand as if it was no big deal. Lola had a way of making everything seem effortless. She was always the best dressed, the most polished, and the loudest voice in the room. Her husband, Tony, was a successful businessman, or so everyone thought. He showered her with gifts, jewelry, designer clothes, and luxury vacations. Lola took great pride in her lifestyle. She would often flaunt her wealth, comparing her life to that of her friends. Sarah, for instance, was dating a man named James, a schoolteacher with modest earnings. Lola never missed an opportunity to remind Sarah of what she was missing. "Sarah, darling," Lola said as she sipped her imported coffee, "you deserve so much more. James is sweet, but can he really give you the life you deserve? Look at this bag. Tony bought it for me yesterday, without me even asking. You should think about finding someone who can truly take care of you." Sarah's face flushed, but she said nothing. This was not the first time Lola had made such remarks. Lola's life appeared to be perfect. She and Tony lived in a sprawling mansion with marble floors and a swimming pool in the backyard. They hosted extravagant parties, where the city's elite gathered to drink fine wine and talk about their luxurious travels. Every morning, Lola posted pictures on social media. A new bracelet, a fancy car ride, or a gourmet meal at a five-star restaurant. Her followers envied her life, filling her comments section with praise and admiration. Despite her show of wealth, Lola rarely questioned Tony about his work. "He's a businessman," she would tell her friends when asked. That was enough for her. As long as the money kept flowing, she didn't care about the details. Tony had a tight-knit group of friends who were always around. They were a rowdy bunch, often whispering in corners during parties. Whenever Lola asked what they were discussing, Tony would dismiss her with a smile. "Just business, sweetheart," he would say. But some things didn't add up. Despite their luxurious lifestyle, Tony's businesses were not widely known. There were rumors, whispers among acquaintances, but Lola ignored them. One evening, during a dinner party, Sarah pulled Lola aside. "Lola, I've heard some things about Tony. Are you sure everything is okay?" Sarah asked cautiously. "Sarah, please, don't be ridiculous. Tony is a hardworking man. People are just jealous of our success," Lola replied sharply. Sarah sighed, realizing her friend would not listen. One cold evening, Lola was at home when she received a call from Tony. His voice was shaky, something she had never heard before. "Lola, listen carefully. If anyone asks, you know nothing about my business. Understand?" "Tony, what's going on?" "Just do as I say," he snapped and hung up. Lola's heart raced. A few hours later, there was a knock at the door. She opened it to find police officers standing there. "Mrs. Lola, we have a warrant for your arrest," one of them said. "What? Arrest? There must be a mistake," Lola protested. But it was no mistake. Tony and his group had been caught in the middle of a robbery. It turned out that their business was a series of high-profile heists. The luxurious lifestyle Lola had been flaunting was funded by stolen money, much of which was hidden in her bank account. The trial was a media sensation. Every detail of Tony's criminal activities was laid bare. Lola, once the queen of high society, now sat in court, her once perfect life crumbling around her. Her friends, including Sarah, were in the audience. Many of them were there out of curiosity, others to see the mighty fall. "Lola, how could you not know?" the prosecutor asked during cross-examination. "I didn't know. Tony handled all the finances. I just thought we were lucky," Lola sobbed. But the evidence was overwhelming. Transactions linked to stolen funds were traced to her accounts. The court didn't believe her claims of ignorance. After weeks of trial, the verdict was delivered. Tony and his crew were sentenced to long prison terms for their crimes. Lola, though not directly involved in the heists, was convicted of money laundering. As the judge announced her sentence, Lola felt her world collapse. She was to serve 5 years in prison. Prison was a harsh contrast to Lola's former life. Gone were the designer clothes, the fine dining, and the lavish parties. She now wore a plain uniform and shared a tiny cell. At first, she struggled to adjust. The other inmates saw her as a snob, someone who had lived a life of luxury while they had suffered. Slowly, though, Lola began to reflect on her choices. She realized how blind she had been, how her obsession with wealth had clouded her judgment. Chapter 8. A Visit from an Old Friend. One day, Lola received a visitor. It was Sarah. Sarah, Lola said, tears welling up in her eyes. I'm so sorry for everything. I know, Lola, Sarah said gently. I tried to warn you, but you wouldn't listen. I just hope you've learned from this. I have, Lola said. I lost everything because I was too busy chasing a life that wasn't real.